Hello, I'm Jim Klein at Ashford University. This is part 2 of a quick study of federalism for students of American government. Part 1 showed how national and state governments will disagree about using their shared powers and about the boundaries of each other's powers. When state and national governments use shared power to address the same issue, conflict is inevitable. These policy disagreements can be intense because of gaps between national and local values. The Constitution resolves such conflicts in Article 6, which states that national laws made in pursuance of the Constitution are the supreme law of the land. The Supremacy Clause makes clear how to resolve clashes within the zone of concurrent power. State laws that conflict with national law are unconstitutional. For example, in 2011, the Texas legislature considered a bill that would punish TSA officers for certain pat-downs of airport passengers. The bill unanimously passed the Texas House of Representatives, but died in the state Senate after warnings that flights from Texas might be suspended. Protecting aircraft is within national power to regulate interstate commerce, and states have concurrent power to regulate airport safety. But if a state blocks national power, the Supremacy Clause makes the state law unconstitutional. A second disagreement is about power boundaries. Neither can cross into the other's exclusive authority. For example, states can't coin money, just as the national government can't carve up a state into other states. On the other hand, how flexible are these boundaries? In other words, can the zone of concurrent power expand or contract, thereby growing or shrinking government authority? The Constitution doesn't say much about power boundaries, but the Supreme Court has said a lot. The Court has shifted these boundaries, and because the Constitution is unclear, the justices' boundary decisions may reflect their political and economic ideologies. The Court has triggered 3 major power boundary shifts. The first marked a period of expansive nationalism. In 1819, the Supreme Court affirmed an elastic view of concurrent power. In McCulloch v. Maryland, the Court unanimously held that Congress can establish national banks. While the Constitution doesn't use the word bank, Congress can tax, issue currency, and borrow. Also, the Constitution gives Congress power to make laws necessary and proper to exercise its other powers. The Court held that creating banks was implied by the necessary and proper clause. People opposed to national banks were unhappy, but found little support in the Constitution. They essentially disagreed with the Court's expansive interpretation of the necessary and proper clause. The Court shifted the power boundaries within which national government operates. McCulloch also dealt with whether states can tax a national bank. John Marshall, the Court's Chief Justice, wrote that the power to tax is the power to destroy, and so the Supremacy Clause makes the tax unconstitutional. After McCulloch v. Maryland, what were the limits on expansive national power? 5 years later, the Marshall Court used similar logic in Gibbons v. Ogden. It held that national power to regulate commerce among states included authority to license a ship to sail the Hudson River. The case expanded the boundaries of national power over commerce. Gibbons also held that a state's grant to another ship of exclusive rights in the same area was invalid under the Supremacy Clause because it interfered with the national license. Again, the question: with implied powers from the necessary and proper clause, what are the limits on Congress's power to regulate commerce? Watch part 3 of this program for a quick study of other changes in the meaning of federalism over the course of American history. See you in a few minutes.